Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Before getting into a viewer's question concerning the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra, a couple of things. Last year some viewers revolted when I had a little dig at a British YouTuber's fascination for a Japanese quartz Rolex Explorer 2 lookalike. So let's see how it worked out for our friend Adrian.
I've just not connected with this Grand Seiko. And why is it still in the collection? Because I love the movement inside.
This is powered by the 9F quartz movement, and please read up about the 9F quartz movement. Absolutely amazing, sensational.
If this is a homage of the Explorer 2, then the Explorer 2 is simply a homage to the Glycine M.
This watch is a phenomenal watch, and that's why it's still in the collection, because it is, I'm in awe of how fantastic that watch is.
Ouch. Good luck selling that one. So there you go. Don't overthink about the importance of a complication or spec. Try to see through it and imagine wearing this watch for the rest of your life. Like I can easily imagine me wearing this Explorer 2. Now, much more interestingly, I've just watched a Revolution watch video called Zooming In with Silas Walton of A Collected Man. Now, Waco can be a bit too alpha when interviewing, but in this video he was laid back and the passion for watches took over, so give it a watch. Don't hope finding one of those Frank Muller chronographs on Chrono 24 though, and if you did, it would be quite expensive. For now, I think the closest thing I have to one of those is probably this Zenith Chronomaster, which I'm going to wear all weekend. Now, on to a good question from David Coleman, who enjoyed my review of the beautiful Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra, 38.5mm blue dial with the discontinued vertical teak deck pattern. He's got a perfect, well-balanced three-piece collection comprised of the Seiko SARB035, here with the cream dial. He's got a Hamilton Khaki Field and a Steinhart Ocean One 39mm. I had one of the larger Steinharts and thought they were really well made. I've never had the Khaki Field, but I've had a couple of Hamilton's well-made watches. Now he's considering selling all three to get the Aqua Terra, one watch and done. So given that his collection would have cost under $1,000 and that a used Aqua Terra is still north of $3,000, I would keep the current three pieces as the cash difference is more than the collection itself, unless money is really tight at the moment for David. Get the Omega and see how it feels to wear it every day. If you're comfortable with wearing a more expensive watch everywhere you go, see if you ever care to wear one of the other watches again. To be honest, I keep my Seiko SARB035, but I've sold my Hamiltons and I've sold the Steinhart when I got the Rolex Sea Dweller, but otherwise it's a cool watch to keep. Honestly, as one watch and done go, the Aqua Terra is hard to beat. I got mine used full set for $3,000. It had minor scratches, which allowed me. Let me zoom on the watch. Maybe you can see them better. Sorry, it's a bit full of fingerprints. The thing is, on the polished, maybe if you zoom it, if in a bright light you're going to see them, but really in daily life you don't notice those scratches. So I got my watch used full set for $3,000. It had minor scratches, which allowed me to enjoy it even more, as I was never worried to add a scratch here and there. Also, it's built to resist a nuclear war, so you can literally put it on and never take it off. So although I was really excited by getting a luxury watch, it was immediately usable, just like my first Rolex. This used but not abused or polished Explorer 2. you can see lots of little scratches, but you know, it works because it's supposed to be neo vintage. And yeah, when it's in that condition, you just want to wear them. They're just honest watches made to be worn. I think I did not even need to size the bracelet. It came just right for me. I might have added back a half link here, I think, this here. As you have no quick adjustment besides the diver's extension, which I'm going to show you. Some people might not know that there's a diver's extension. It's better to have some slack in the summertime at least. So the clasp have to be always closed in the same order. This side first, the side with the Omega logo, and then this side. And then if you just close the Omega logo, you have the diver's extension. Or you can use it in the winter over some clothes or whatever you like. But otherwise you put it here and then the clasp will neatly shut over it. It's a very safe clasp, very solid. Now I know the first time you get a luxury watch worth so much money, you'll want to babysit it, but you only live once, so don't hold back. Omega can always polish it back to new condition. Speaking of which, normally these watches can last many years without servicing, but do factor in that a service will cost more than a whole Steinhart watch itself. However, it shouldn't be your main concern. It's not like Patek Philippe running costs either. Now, I had a look on Chrono24 and I'm a bit shocked that there's nothing as low as what I paid for mine, which was, I believe, 24,000 Hong Kong dollar. So just above 3,000 US. I knew I was getting a good deal 2 years ago on eBay when I got the watch, but I didn't know that Omega would kind of ruin the model by changing the dial to horizontal patterns and putting the date at 6. It's still a nice watch, but it turned mine into the ultimate version of the vertical run. Some prefer the previous model with the frame around the date, which I believe was the one worn by Daniel Craig in Skyfall, the James Bond movie. But I feel like it looks a bit dated compared to this naked date version. A thin frame would have been ideal, I guess. Also, I think this one here was the first to get the over 15,000 Gauss mention on the case. See right here. As you know, there is a specific version that has it on the dial. I think the black dial with a green or yellow hand. This one is very discreet in the way it announces the performance. And I'll let you have a nice look at the back as well. It is such a beautiful watch, double barrel, and there you go. See the balance beating. I haven't had it serviced yet. Maybe I'll do it. I think it's running about +3, +4 seconds. It can probably do better with the coaxial escapement. And so it looks like the first price for a used model on Chrono24 is close to 4,000 US dollar. Mine has served me well so far, and I think I'll keep it for one of my kids as their one watch to wear all the time. To be honest, I prefer the more classic look of Rolex watches, and my Rolex Explorer here suits me better on the wrist. It's a bit larger, a bit more of a cushion case, and but it's a bit flatter. But the Aqua Terra does offer a whole lot and is also very practical to travel with. Let me quickly demonstrate how that happens. You unscrew the watch. Winding is still very, very smooth. I mean, very few watches remain so smooth after a few years. Super smooth, very easy to screw back in, never any hesitation. So really bravo Omega for the quality. Even Rolex doesn't manage to match this. Now if you pull to the first stop, you see the watch keeps on going, but you can just change the hour. And that is how you change the date. So if you let the watch run down on power, it's a bit annoying if you're like the 17th of the month and you start from 5, so you have to go through. But otherwise, when you travel, even when you travel back, you see it. You can go back and you can go forward. It's very practical, and you will never break your watch. So it really is a GMT function without the GMT indication. Speaking of which, I'm still waiting to see the bloody Seamaster GMT world timer that supposedly came out last year. It's already mid-year, and still haven't seen it here. But it's a bigger watch, but beautiful, with a laser etched map, world map at the center. Different budget though than this watch. This watch retail, by the way, is gonna be, I want to say 5,000, 6,000. Maybe you can find it on the gray market, but I wouldn't buy it. I shouldn't say that, but I wouldn't buy it really at the Omega store. Really is better, especially for David, coming from a lower budget watches. And if you really want to enjoy it every day, get one that has a few scratches, that has seen one owner before, with the full set. It's probably the best way to go. Anyway, are there any alternatives? David doesn't ask, but I'll just offer my 2 cents. If you don't need the date, and if you love divers, the Black Bay 58 is the obvious contender, and it costs less, brand new. It's got the vintage look, a bit forced, with the faux patina, the gilt colors, and the faded dial. But a very accurate movement. Actually, I find it more accurate than the coaxial on my particular Omega. Your mileage may differ. And it has a higher beat rate. There's a smoother sweep, obviously, on the Tudor. You lose the date function, but get a rotating bezel that's useful to time events. The clasp has a little adjustment point on the side, so all you need is a toothpick to get some wrist relief in the summer. I think the Omega is more versatile and a more solid piece. The bracelet in particular, let's have a look at that beautiful bracelet that leaves quite a bit of space to aerate the wrist on a hot day. It feels very comfortable. I remember I took it on holiday. I had a wedding, so I just needed one watch to do everything, and it was perfect there in Thailand with my family, playing at the pool, and still looking very sharp, dressed up for the wedding with the polished center links. The twisted lugs also are more complex to produce, and you get a display case back, as I've shown you. The power reserve isn't as long as the Tudor, but it still is above 50 hours, I think up to 56. I've let it run down from Friday night to Monday morning, and it was still running on Monday morning. The lume is much clearer on the Tudor. It's a proper diver. It's more of a tool watch, while the Omega handles itself perfectly well at work with a suit and still looks at home on the beach. They're different enough to decide easily, and I'm guessing David's heart is set on the Omega. So to answer your question, David, if you get it and love it, then you can look into losing the other 3 watches, because I've had a Steinhart, as I told you, and a couple of Hamiltons, and they're very well made. But there's an extra kick with the Omega. It's luxurious, and the Aqua Terra remains, having said that, very usable as an everyday piece. So I hope this answers your question, David. Best of luck in your search. Since we are on this subject, check out the new Aqua Terra dials I just saw on Instagram. The patterns evolve a bit, and a green color appears on the dial. It's pretty cool. Green also on the Grand Seiko GMT, the one that you should buy instead of the 9F quartz. I think it's my favorite Grand Seiko, this one. But again, they come up with this new version, I suppose, limited. There's a problem with Grand Seiko. They just can't make up their mind with a definitive version. But that GMT has a couple of really nice versions. It's a very beautiful watch in person. Now, another question I've been asked is if I recommend using watch winders. Look, ask it to a watchmaker, not me. The last time I heard a watchmaker talk about it, he thought it was absolutely stupid to use one. I don't use any, and if I did, it'd be for my Zenith calendar, which is a real drag to reset every time if I let it run down for a few days. But then again, I don't use it all that much, and servicing it costs quite a pretty penny, so Keeping it running non-stop for nothing is just going to reduce service intervals. You don't keep your weekend car running all week on a dynamo, do you? So it's better to have some sort of rotation going. I don't have one in particular, but I'll wear all my watches regularly and just set the time and date. My longer has the advantage of having a magic button on the side that advances the whole calendar. If you're really keen on getting a winder though, get a good one that's not going to make tons of noise, and try to find one that's adapted to your model of watch and can be programmed to keep the watch running without going around constantly and maxing your power reserve non-stop, which will just cause wear and chip out debris slowly but surely into the movement. That's it for now. Should you guys have any questions, feel free to send them to uptickwr for watch review at gmail.com. Take care, guys.